You Can't Play That Riff, Episode 6, Disposable Heroes, Metallica. What up, guys? So hopefully you guys are having a good new year so far, staying healthy and all that. Today we're doing Disposable Heroes. We're going to cover all the riffs because I think all of them just need to be shown. The tab books are kind of meh. A lot of the videos on YouTube are not correct for showing how to play certain parts, at least just like the phrasing of it. And I mean, there are good tutorials online still, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been doing this, I'm just basically trying to get Ben Eller to come for me at this point. So let's get into the riffs. They're not technically difficult for the most part, except for the one under the solo, so be prepared for that. But other than that, it's mostly just a speed thing. So let's get into that right now, and yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so the opening riff starts with 6 palm muted E power chords to an F sharp power chord, a G power chord, then back to an F sharp power chord. So that's, and that is 2 and 4 on the E and A string, and 3 and 5 on the E and A string as well. So that's, so the next part's another 6 E's. Then you go to the G power chord, then an A, then back down to that F sharp power chord. Then you do the same as the first sequence again. Then you're going to go 4 and then 5 and then up to, so what I mean by 4 and 5, I mean 4 palm muted downstrokes on E and then another 5 of those, just, and then you jump up to E here, which is 7 on the A string, and that's a power chord. So the whole thing together, slow, is something like this. So you do that a couple times, and then it ends on a E power chord there. So the second riff is the galloping E note riff. So it's all on E, and it is power chords, palm muted. Although you're really only tremolo picking that E there. So how we're doing that is 1 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, so do downstroke, then alternate pick once. So then it's 4 downstrokes. And that is key to getting the lick down and makes it a lot easier. So then 1 2 3 4 tremolo pick. You do that God knows how many times. So when you gotta remember that the downstroke pattern is basically the entire time, it's just you're throwing those notes in between, right? So that's just kind of how I remember it in my head anyways. I don't know. Yeah, so the next riff is the speed riff, which is all on C sharp power chord. So that's 4 on the A string, 6 on the D string, like that. So you're also going to be using the 5 on the A string as well on that power chord. So you're going to be pulling off. So something like this. So what that is just open and then a bunch of power chords. And then you're going to do a pull off from 5 to 4, but you're still holding that power chord on the 6 on the D string. brings us to the next little part we need to learn. So that is this little riff here between the verse, like the pre-verse and then the verse. And that is, you're going to do a palm muted A, open, and then come up to 5 on the D string and slide down to the 4. Then another open A, palm muted. Then from 4 to 2 on the D string. Then you're going to come down to the A string and go to 5 and 4. And then you come down to E and do a power chord. So that's going to be a G power chord, palm muted, an F sharp power chord, palm muted, and then an E power chord, open. Then you go up to 5 on the A string, and that is palm muted as well. And then down to 4 power chord on the A string. And then open on the 2. Really slow now. And fast. There you go. That's kind of how you play it there. So moving on to, so the verse riff is kind of the same as the main intro riff there in the beginning. So it's except for there are some variables in there. So you go then up to a G power chord, then down to an F sharp power chord. So you do that pattern like that. Then you go back down to E. Then back up to G. Now you go to B on, so that'll be the A string, that'll be 2 and 4 on the A and D string. Same pattern. Right, so, and then on the very last, so I think it does 3 times, and then on the last time through, when you do the whole thing through, you go. You just keep holding that E until you go back into the fast riff, which is a little bit different. So this is the pre-chorus now. You do the same speed riff as I showed you the first time, except for it's going to be 3 times through. So then you're going to come down to 2 on the A string. So that's a power chord. That's a B power chord. And every time you do that speed riff, you're always hitting the note up with your middle finger. So you do it down there every time. So you do that, I think that is 3 times too. So okay, so it's 4 times through, and then you stay on that B power chord. So you do that 3 times, and then you come down to an A power chord. So you can do open here, or if you're playing it down here, it's 5 and 7 on the E and A string. But here we're going to be playing open. Same thing, you pull off that note higher, the A sharp there. Then that brings us to the little pre-chorus riff, which I have a little discrepancy with. A lot of people just show it as like this. But there's a snare, I believe, and there's an accent on the last. When you're finishing on the A, like speed riff, you hit another palm muted A. So it'll be more like this. So how do I do that? That is all basically palm mutes right now. So it's going to be an A power chord palm muted, a B power chord palm muted, a A sharp power chord palm muted. Then you go back up to B, except for it's open, and a C power chord open, and then back down to B, open. And if you listen to the isolated track, you can actually hear it leading into it. So it'll be like... Yeah, I mean, like you can hear that there is an accent on that note. So and then that goes into on the E power chord. That leads us to the chorus, and that will be starting on the G power chord. You'll just be holding that. Then you're going to come up to 6 and 8 on E and A, so A sharp power chord. Then down to a F sharp power chord, to an A power chord, to an F power chord, to a G, then back down to the E for this. So fast. You do the verse again into the pre-chorus and the chorus, and you will get to the bridge, which starts with a kind of reverse power chord. So it's going to be 7 and 5 on the A and D strings respectively. So then you're going to come down and start doing some power chords on the E string here. So what you're doing for that is you're making an E power chord, an A power chord, a G power chord, and an F sharp power chord again. You're familiar with those from the rest of the song. So it's open, 2 palm mutes, and then so like this. And then you come up to the A, and you're pulling off that A to an E, and you're holding that 7. That E note up there, you're holding that 7. So you're pulling off only on that E string, the bottom string. So you're throwing 2 palm mutes in between all of those. So every time you move down, you're always pulling off the E string. And then, so you'll get to the solo part where that follows that same pattern. Then you get to a C power chord. And then to a D power chord, back to a C. Then C, B power chord, and then G F sharp power chords, palm muted to an open to restart the riff. Alright, so this brings us to the complicated part where we slide up on the E string to the 8. And you're following that same kind of pattern, so it's an open and then 2 palm mutes. And then you take your pinky and go way up to 12 on the A string and pull off to E, which is your 7 on the A string. And then 10 and pull off, and you're still throwing those palm mutes in between. And then to 9 to 7 pull off to finish it. And then you're going to do an open 7 and 9 on the A and D string, so an E power chord, and then come back down and start it. So and there you go. So it's just the same thing over and over again, but it's hard to jump up there. So like, you know, then you come back down to the lower riff. And then you go back up. And then this time you do, so 8 on the E string, 7 on the A string. Just repeat the same pattern. Pretty straightforward. You know, it is hard to stretch, but you know, you can do it. Just practice, you know, just make sure you practice. Using your pinky is super important, especially in metal, and yeah, it's always going to be an asset in guitar. So moving on, we get to, you know, the speed riff, the verse again, and then right before the last chorus, you get a variation on the, except for you're going to go like this. You're going to do A power chord, palm muted, B power chord, palm muted, A sharp power chord, palm muted, B power chord, palm muted, C open to B open power chord. So, and really quickly, you're going to jump back down to the open A power chord, palm muted, and come up to a C power chord, to a B power chord, palm muted, back up to C, up to a D power chord, open, to a D sharp, to an E power chord on the 7 there. So and you end it with that E, little roll off there. So alright guys, there you go. Like and subscribe for more stuff like this. I hope you guys have learned, and I hope you watch some more Metallica reworks coming soon. Take it easy.